Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Sunday, December 3rd. Ian Cameron with you. Alex B. Smith, a little under the weather today. Nothing major. Should be back with us tomorrow. Hey, it's Christmas month. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. We got the tree right behind us, the annual tradition. If you've been watching content involving me for the last few years, you know we bust out the tree with the lights in the background. So we're ready for Christmas, and we're excited about this Sunday NHL card. It's 5 games on tap. Before we get into those, we will definitely look toward yesterday's games first and recap what we saw on a very busy Saturday in the NHL. It started with an absolute pounding by the Dallas Stars over the Tampa Bay Lightning, 8-1. Andrei Vasilevskiy chased from the net, and I don't know what's more shocking. Andrei Vasilevskiy gets pulled because he had a brutal day, or the fact that he allowed John Cooper to pull him from the game. As many of you know, Andrei Vasilevskiy's had this "you won't pull me from the game" kind of policy as long as he's been a member of the Tampa Bay Lightning. But apparently he waived that policy yesterday and ended up allowing, I think it was the right move. Look, man, I know you don't like getting pulled. There's something that it's beneath you that the head coach ends up lifting you from a game. But it's the smart thing to do. You didn't have it yesterday. You had a bad day right from the very beginning in the first period. You could tell that was not Vasilevskiy on his game. You're just coming off a massive hip surgery. It's time to just, realize, hey, we're not winning this game. It's been an awful day for me. I'm just recovering from a major injury, major surgery. Let's just cool our heels and come out of the game. And so at least he put his pride aside for a little bit and decided, let's let Coop take me out. And obviously it was Johansson that finished the game yesterday, but just an ugly day for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They lose 8-1 to the Dallas Stars. Dallas, a team that, look, they've had some inconsistency in their game. But they found it yesterday, and everyone contributed. Jason Robertson, big game. Tyler Seguin, big game. Mason Marchment with a goal and an assist, and including a winner in the bargain bin special, the night segment for our guest yesterday, Zach Urban, who was very good in his first appearance here on the show. So Dallas with the big 8-1 win yesterday against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Winnipeg with a 3-1 win against Chicago. Did cash the first period, both teams to score. Both Alex and I, but did have the Jets team total over 3.5. And to see them, get that third goal early in the third and not get that fourth goal, very disheartening. But solid win for the Jets, 3-1 over the Blackhawks. Great to see, and he scored the only goal for them, but great to see Connor Bedard find the back of the net after the bullshit he had to deal with the media there in Winnipeg. What else did we see? Rangers Predators. Good comeback win by the Rangers. Slow start, but they came back with the 4-3 victory in that game. Islanders, for a change, they hang on to a lead, although they did their best to try to blow it. They beat Florida by a score of 4-3. Carolina with the 6-2 win against the Buffalo Sabres. So Buffalo, just a really poor game from their perspective. Usually they're good in these spots on the road against a quality foe. Not last night. Dylan Cousins basically calling his team soft. Just put the captaincy on that guy. He's the one guy that gives a shit night in and night out and cares and has emotion and intensity in his game and a little pushback in his game. Not enough of that on this Buffalo Sabres team right now. I applaud Dylan Cousins for stepping up, saying what he did after last night's loss to Carolina. Just give him the captaincy. What are we waiting for, okay? I mean, I know they don't have a captain right now, but he's the guy. He is the guy that you put that C on, as far as I'm concerned. 5-4 Detroit with an overtime win against the Montreal Canadiens. They cough up what was a 4-1 lead at one point, but they end up getting the victory. Jake Wallman, overtime winner, and a solid win for the Red Wings, and a draw winner for me with that game last night as Detroit wins in overtime 5-4. Ottawa with a 2-0 shutout win against Seattle. Very, very good much needed performance by the Ottawa Senators in that game. Although in the third period, they did sit back a little too much, relied a little too much on their goaltender, Anton Forsberg, who had a brilliant night, 39 save shutout for the Ottawa Senators, and they get the 2-0 win in that game over the Seattle Kraken. Disappointing, not even close, unfortunately, with our best bet yesterday with this over. So 2-0 Ottawa, 4-3 Philly. What a comeback win. They've got balls, said John Tortorella after the game about his team. And I said yesterday, didn't trust Pittsburgh in that price range, and they basically proved me right. Boston 4-3 in overtime against Toronto. That is a tough loss for the Leafs to only get a point, because I thought they were in large part the better team last night against Boston. But unfortunately, William Nylander has a little spill in the neutral zone at center ice, and that allows Boston to get a clear-cut breakaway, which gets stopped. Puck ends up ricocheting back in front of the net to a wide-open Marchand, who puts it behind Joe Woll. Nothing anyone could have done about it. A 4-3 Boston win, and another draw winner for me there with the Bruins and the Leafs. Alex was on that draw as well. To be honest with you, it was a mediocre day betting-wise for me, but the draws pulled me into profit for the day. Those two big draw winners with the Leaf game and the Detroit-Montreal game. So both of those really helped. So did Arizona. We were on the Coyotes there. They get a nice 4-1 win, and Connor Ingram keeps playing well in between the pipes for the Arizona Coyotes right now. Another really good start, good outing from him in net, and the offense takes care of the rest. Vegas, a workmanlike, solid 4-1 win against Washington. Washington didn't have a lot going for them last night. A little tired. Fourth road game on this trip. Didn't have a lot in the tank. Anaheim, how about the Ducks coming back from a 3-1 first period deficit to snap their ugly losing streak against the Colorado Avalanche, winning in a shootout, a beautiful shootout goal by Leo Carlson as well, helping the Ducks get the victory in that game. So a great win for them. And Colorado, disappointing to let that one slip away, considering you were going up against an Anaheim team really battling confidence right now, and not able to protect that lead. Not going to be something that they're going to be thrilled about. It's not going to get any easier for them. The game of the day for sure today in the NHL is Colorado LA, a very difficult assignment on a back-to-back coming up for the Colorado Avalanche. And then the final game of the night, it was great to see it end the way it did. We had a little piece of the over and a bigger piece of Vancouver at a plus price. They got the job done 4-3 against the Calgary Flames. Nearly, and I mean nearly, cashed that big time plus 1,200, 12-1 ticket on Nikita Zadorov to score a goal. But it looked like initially he had scored the empty net goal for the Canucks late in the third to put it away. But the puck did hit the stick of Elias Pettersson on the way in. So that close. But we almost had it. But nevertheless, the Vancouver Canucks win 4-3. They bounced back after a tough night against the Vegas Golden Knights. A solid effort. I think it was one of their better games in quite some time. I thought defensively they were very good. Zadorov didn't look out of place in his first game with the Vancouver Canucks. Quinn Hughes scores a goal. They get a goal from their depth forward, Sam Lafferty, Ilya Mikheyev. A couple more assists for Phil Hronek, who continues to be great on the back end. Him and Quinn Hughes have just had outstanding seasons for them. So outstanding job by Vancouver to get that win last night. All right, let's get to Sunday. We'll start with Chicago and Minnesota. We've got the Minnesota Wild minus 320 to minus 330. Home favorites, 6 the total in this game. Certainly, I'm not stepping in front of this Minnesota mini little freight train here since the coaching change. We've got to acknowledge how they're getting the new coach bump that we often see teams have. And right now, the Wild are having that right now, getting that from the change to John Hines after the firing of Dean Evison. And it wouldn't shock me to see that continue here today in this game against the Chicago Blackhawks. Tricky spot for Chicago. They playing on a back-to-back. Minnesota rested after Chicago was in Winnipeg yesterday, losing to the Blackhawks 3-1. Here they are, a matinee affair against the Minnesota Wild. It's actually less than 24 hours because this game starts at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Chicago at Winnipeg yesterday was 3 p.m. Eastern time. So this is actually a sub 24-hour turnaround for the Blackhawks here in this game. So a very, very difficult spot. to me, you got to maybe get a little creative. How do you play Minnesota in this game in some fashion? For me, you look at the team total. It's not a great price by any stretch of the imagination with that. I don't necessarily love getting on the team total at the price we're getting with that right now. Because if you take a look, Minnesota team total is over 3.5 minus 145 at Pinnacle. But I will dabble a little bit with that Wild team total over. This is definitely a game where the first period over 1.5 minus 135, which I know Alex B. Smith likes, makes some sense. And both teams to score in the first period. Another both teams to score in the first period cashes yesterday with Chicago. And that has been a pattern for them lately. It's like we get that early goal, and I'm not sure we're going to get more than that from the Chicago Blackhawks lately. If you look at their pattern in games, that's the way it's been. Certainly the last two games, you look at it. Detroit, they scored the early first period goal, nothing after that. Yesterday, first period goal against Winnipeg, nothing after that. So, the first period, both teams to score, definitely I kind of like that here in this game. Wild team total over 3.5 as well. And like I said, Alex likes the first period over in this game as well, over 1.5 minus 135. Let me just, I just want to make sure I get it right because he did send me his card. Yeah, over first period and both teams to score first period, which is in the plus 150, plus 160 range. So pretty good price there with that. And as far as player props in this game, if you look at it, obviously yesterday, we still think the theory is sound. Obviously, it doesn't mean that the theory can be sound. Doesn't mean it's going to work out every game. But, we did see, obviously, we have a situation here where we had Beauvillier yesterday. He made his debut with the Jets yesterday, but he had 2 shots on goal playing on that top line. He's out today. Foligno is going to be on that top line with Bedard and Kurashev today for the Blackhawks. So keep that in mind with that. And then as far as Minnesota is concerned, they've got Kaprizov, Marco Rossi, Mats Zuccarello on their top line. Keep in mind, Freddie Gaudreau, Boldy, some of these players that have really struggled, starting to show some signs of life since the 2 games since the coaching change. So we will definitely see, if that can continue here moving forward. But definitely the Wild, you got to give them their credit. I thought maybe one game I could see them winning with the new coach against St. Louis, but to go into Nashville and beat up the Preds like that, 6-1, very, very impressive. So Minnesota's, until they lose, they're right now either you bet on them or you pass, as far as I'm concerned. All right, next up, we've got another. That's, by the way, is the only afternoon game. The rest of them are at night. We've got San Jose and the New York Rangers. Next up, it is New York minus 425 is the average price with the Rangers in this game. The total 6 shaded to the under. Can't lay that price with the Rangers. Back-to-back, rested San Jose team. It's actually a better spot for San Jose. And I'll tell you what, they did beat New Jersey. They did beat New Jersey. I can't believe I'm considering San Jose, but, I think in this spot, it's not the worst thing in the world. It really isn't. I mean, this is an astronomical price. The Sharks at least finally got some offense going on the road for the first time this season. That win against New Jersey also, their first road win, if you could believe it, of the season. They were 0-10 on the road prior to that monster upset Friday night against New Jersey. Now they're 1-10 on the road this year. So, we'll see how this one goes. But when I look at this matchup here, it's just can't lay it with the Rangers on a back-to-back like this. Certainly they're playing well. And if they even play their B- game, they can probably beat San Jose. But we do have to give San Jose credit. They have won 3 of their last 4. The last 2 of their home stand against Vancouver and Washington. Shut out by Boston, but bounced back, beat New Jersey 6-3 in that game. We'll see how they fare here. And believe it or not, these two, and San Jose was pretty bad last year too. Not as bad as this year, but last year, a pretty bad San Jose team gave the Rangers fits. You look at the game in San Jose, it was 2-1 Rangers, and the game at Madison Square Garden last year, San Jose won in overtime by a score of 3-2 against the New York Rangers. So we'll see how it goes here in this one. The fear with me betting the over, using it as a best bet on Friday night, was the Sharks offense being so dormant. And by the way, I think we're getting the There we go. We have got the playoff field, it looks like, revealed here. Uh, we've got Michigan, Alabama, Michigan 1, Washington 2, Texas 3, Alabama 4, and Georgia out, Florida State out. We've got Michigan number 1, Washington number 2, Texas number 3, Alabama number 4. So it's Michigan versus Alabama, Washington versus Texas in the 2 semifinals. So Florida State, that's disappointing, man. It is. That's disappointing. I get why they did it. ACC stunk this year. I know there's a hockey show, but they just broke the news. ACC stunk this year. It was a terrible conference. And yeah, they had some nice wins. Florida State, LSU early in the season, undefeated. Look, 99% of the time, an undefeated Power 5 conference champion is going to be in a 14 playoff. This is just that one year, unfortunately, where there's just so many undefeated teams and teams that had one loss that had great resumes, stronger strength of schedules. And unfortunately, that puts a team like Florida State out. Very disappointing for Mike Norvell's group. Anyway, getting back to hockey, San Jose, New York. This is one I'm going around in circles with, but I believe we're going to probably end up seeing Quick in net for the New York Rangers. And I don't want to make it, he's not a downgrade. He's had a great year. No question about that for the New York Rangers. Mackenzie Blackwood will be in for San Jose in this game as well. However, I do want to mention that aside from the shutout he had against Pittsburgh, Quick has allowed 3 goals or more in 4 of his last 5 starts. So we'll see if that continues here today in this one. But yeah, as far as this game goes, I'd actually lean to a Sharks and draw split. I really would. I mean, it was a Shark win in overtime last year against the Rangers. This is a tricky little spot. It's just a huge number. I lean slightly to a Sharks draw split. Tiny bets. I don't trust this San Jose team against a really good squad, and the Rangers are better than the Devils right now. So while that win against New Jersey was nice, this will be a little bit tougher for San Jose, but they're a rested team. Rangers are on a back-to-back. We've seen the Rangers sometimes scuffle and cough up these games against below-average teams at home. So I don't mind taking a look here at San Jose and the draw split. I think if this total is, if I can find some 5.5s here, and there are a couple books that have 5.5s with juice, I might lean over here as well. All right, Columbus, Boston. We've got Boston, big favorites here, minus 265, minus 270, 6 the total, shaded to the over in this one. You know, it's a revenge spot for Boston. We know that. They got pounded by Columbus earlier this week in Columbus. Short turnaround, redemption spot. You know, it feels like a spot where Boston is capable of winning this. We know they're off a big win, but it's still, the one thing that concerns me tonight for the Bruins is they're on a back-to-back. It's a very, very intense game last night inside their division, original 6 rival, playing Toronto, going to overtime against Toronto in that game. So it's not an easy turnaround spot for Boston. So it's kind of like divulging or converging factors here. I don't want Boston in the short turnaround revenge spot, to me, is bet on against a Columbus team that just beat them earlier this week, but not at this price and not in this spot on the back-to-back after a big divisional win last night against Toronto. So I'm passing this game. I'm just leaving it alone. Other than, Raymond Reddington is 100% right. Pavel Zacha, has been excellent for Boston. I would never, ever turn down prop bets involving him right now. He's been great, consistent all year for Boston. And like I say, for the Jackets, if you're going to bet props, I don't know how much they're going to score here. We know Boston, when they're on their defensive game, can be pretty strong, but it should be Jeremy Swayman. It will be Jeremy Swayman, obviously, because we saw Linus Ullmark get the start last night. Spencer Martin in net for Columbus. Go with the Russian trio right now. Those 3 guys are rolling for Columbus right now. Voronkov, Shinnikov, and Marchenko. I've talked about them quite a bit. They have been getting absolutely outstanding production from those 3 guys. Fantilli finally snapped a little drought the other night, too, against Ottawa in the Jackets' win over the Senators on Friday night. So we'll see if maybe that can continue here going into this matchup against the Boston Bruins. So those would be the props I would be focusing on here when it comes to the Blue Jackets and the Bruins. All right, next up here, we've got 2 games left. Nashville and Buffalo. Even money, both sides here. 6 the total in this game. Both of these teams on back-to-backs. The Predators were at home against the Rangers, had an early lead, let it slip away. That's now 2 losses in a row for Nashville after that streak. So a Nashville team that might be coming back down to earth just a little bit here coming into this game. Buffalo, very disheartening loss against obviously still a good Carolina team, but a loss that left Dylan Cousins very, very upset with his team's performance in that game, calling them soft, calling out their effort, their not just their effort, but their willingness to battle. And when you're hearing this young kid who's like wearing his heart on his sleeve for this Buffalo Sabres team saying stuff like that, yeah, that's a good point about Fantilli, Cuban. Him and his dad, huge Bruins fans. So there you go, Fantilli. There you go. That's a good little nugget there. That's something. It's those little intangible things that you sometimes look for when you're betting player props. This one, I expect Buffalo to show up here. You don't listen to this kid that goes out there and gives it his all every night like Dylan Cousins does. And I'd be shocked if there's not an adequate response from this Buffalo team. Not to mention Nashville is not good away from Music City this year. Say what you will, they had that little win streak, but they're still a 3-6 team away from home this year. 3-6 on the road for the Nashville Predators coming into this game. So there are a couple ways I'm going about this here. I'm going to actually have evenly distributed bets, splitting it up probably in threes here with Buffalo minus 110. I'm also going to go with a little Buffalo puck line here, minus a half for a really good price in the first period. Minus a half, plus 185 is what you can get with the Sabres puck line here. Again, plus 185 for a little first period puck line on Buffalo, minus 110 or so with the full game money line. And I'm also going to take a little Buffalo team total in this game, over 3.5 at plus 128 at Pinnacle. So it's a really, really good look there as far as that goes. Alex B. Smith likes the first period, both teams to score in this game. No doubt about that. So Alex B. Smith liking first period, both teams to score, plus 140 in this game with Buffalo and Nashville. I could see it. Yeah, I could definitely see it. As far as goaltending is concerned, obviously we saw Eric Comrie last night. Most likely going to see Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen in net, who has been playing well until his last start. He did struggle against St. Louis the last time we saw him, but he's a guy that's usually a good bounce back goalie too. Wouldn't surprise me to see him play better here tonight in this game. UC Saros will get the nod for Nashville because they used their number 2 goalie, Kevin Lankinen, yesterday in the game against the New York Rangers. So for me, it's a couple, 3 bets, smaller bets, but evenly distributed. Buffalo full game money line, Buffalo first period puck line, Buffalo team total over here in this game. And as far as the props, yeah, O'Reilly's O'Reilly against his former team, and just O'Reilly's in great form for the Nashville Predators as well. No question about that. So I would continue to look in that direction. The full game over might be worth a look too. I'm just looking at it. 3 straight head-to-head meetings have gone over the total. So I might tack on a little over 6.5 here as well. And like I said, Alex likes first period, both teams to score in this game. And I definitely, after what he said last night, you could rest assured, if you're going to talk like that, you're going to need to back it up. But I have no worries whatsoever about this guy backing up the words that he used after calling out his team after that bad effort against Carolina last night. And that's Dylan Cousins. So Dylan Cousins around plus 300 to score a goal tonight for Buffalo, plus 215, I should say, to get an assist. So you've got some really good value there with plus money for Dylan Cousins, who was very outspoken and critical of his team's lethargic performance last night against the Carolina Hurricanes. So I expect, like I say, if this guy is not made the captain of the Buffalo Sabres going into next season, they don't know what they're doing, because this is the guy you want. He is a leader. He is already demonstrating terrific leadership qualities. No doubt about that for this Buffalo Sabres team. All right, the game of the night. What a great game to wrap up the Sunday card here with the Colorado Avalanche, the Los Angeles Kings, 2 surefire Western Conference and Stanley Cup contenders going head-to-head. We've got LA minus 135, home favorites, 6.5 the total here in this game. You look at Colorado, definitely not exactly what they wanted last night. A nice, comfortable early lead against the Anaheim Ducks. and could not keep that and let that lead hold up. Anaheim ends up coming back and getting the victory there in that game against the Colorado Avalanche last night in a shootout. We'll see now how the Avalanche can bounce back from that. For me, this is the Kings or pass. This is, to me, not that this isn't an important game for Colorado, especially after now losing 2 in a row, because remember, they lost to Arizona in overtime. They did pick up points in both games, but they have now lost 2 in a row with Colorado, with Arizona and Anaheim back to back. So now they've got to try to rebound from that, facing the LA Kings, who are rested. They haven't played actually the LA Kings since Friday, so they're rested coming in. Not Friday, since Wednesday, actually. So they have had 3 days off, 3 days of rest, 3 days off to really get themselves ready. And not to mention, they are coming off that 2-1 loss Wednesday night against the Washington Capitals, where they got Lindgren in that game. Charlie Lindgren just absolutely stole 2 points from the LA Kings in that game, no question. So absolutely, LA should be full of energy, rested. And right now, to be honest with you, I think they're in a little better form than Colorado. Colorado feasted on, Calgary, and they had a nice win against Tampa, but Tampa's been struggling lately. You get Colorado on the road; they've been marginal this year. 7-6 they are on the road. LA struggled at home early in the season, but they have certainly turned things around on home ice recently, playing better. Very, very substantial game for them coming into this one. I'm going to rock with LA here. LA minus 130 is the price at the majority of books. I like the Kings here in this game. I think this is a team that's just in a little bit better form. Certainly at the defensive end, they're in better form right now than the Colorado Avalanche. No question about that. We'll see if that continues here in this game. The Kings have been an under machine. 6-1 to the under in their last 7 games. But this is one of those series where these two teams get together and there are goals. 5 straight head-to-head meetings have gone over with the Avs and the Kings. And just in general, for the last 9 meetings, 7-2 to the over in the last 9 meetings. So very, very tough but at 6, I do lean over. If it was 6.5, not interested. 6 with that strong series history where for some reason you get the Avalanche and the Kings together, and there are a lot of goals. It's just the way it is. So as far as I'm concerned here, Colorado, LA, smaller bet over. Looking at LA here as well, around the minus 125 to minus 130, minus 135 price on the LA Kings here in this one. Yeah, right. Kempe is due, Cuban. There's no doubt. I would look at that. But for me, the main props that I always look at for LA, Trevor Moore, Quentin Byfield, those are guys that are consistently undervalued. Trevor Moore's had a great season, no question. So I would stick with them. For Colorado, it would be Big Val Nichushkin. Probably Jonathan Drouin, I think, still has value as long as he stays playing on that second line for the Colorado Avalanche. Now, keep in mind as well, it's very important. And Bowen Byram, look, they've got the blue line to step up, but Cale Makar left the game yesterday against Anaheim due to injury. Now you're on a back-to-back. Late in the third period, dealing with something that prevented him from being in overtime, according to Jared Bednar. So with this being a back-to-back and 8 p.m. Eastern start time tonight, there's a chance you might not see Cale Makar tonight here for the Colorado Avalanche. And look, that's not your average defenseman, as we all know. So that would be a significant. Remember, this is a team that's already down Sam Girard, who's away dealing with his mental health struggles right now for this Colorado team. So that means more minutes and more emphasis and on Bo Byram. He's got to step up. Devon Taves has to step up. But you know what that means, too, is from a prop standpoint, there's probably some value on Bo Byram and Devon Taves, because without Cale Makar, they're going to suck up all those minutes that you're going to need to replace that Cale Makar normally would get. So there might be some opportunities in the defenseman props for Colorado with Byram and with Taves if you're not going to see Cale Makar play tonight. Again, he left that game due to injury very late in the third period last night against Anaheim. All right, great stuff. That's the Sunday card. We appreciate it very much. Hit the like button, everyone watching on YouTube. This is the last day for the Ice Guys store, 15% off and free standard shipping. iceguys.myspreadshop.com. Now's the day. Get involved. Get yourself some Ice Guys merch. The holiday season is right around the corner. It's the perfect time. Give someone that you know a gift of Ice Guys apparel in some form. So make sure you get involved with that last day of the free standard shipping and 15% off offer for the Ice Guys store. Patreon.com/Ice Guys. Again, just $10 a month. And that's where all the content, including the daily card, is posted. Although until the YouTube issues are ironed out, we will continue to post the card in the community tab as well. Although we won't be doing that for indefinitely. We will be putting that for Patreon only until the membership component of the YouTube channel comes back. So make sure you're aware of that. And again, the Ice Guys store, last day for the big sale, 15% off and free standard shipping. All right, bargain bin special of the night for this Sunday NHL slate. And by the way, Alex, who sent me his Sunday card before the show, knowing he wasn't going to be on today, he sent me a bargain bin play, and he is going to the Rangers-Sharks game, and he is taking Keandre Miller for the New York Rangers to score a goal at plus 600 for the Rangers in this game. So a very interesting choice. Again, Keandre Miller for the New York Rangers, plus 600 for Alex B. Smith with his bargain bin special of the night. And it's someone that's picked things up offensively, 3 points and 2 goals for the Rangers in the last 4 games. I like that way of thinking. You've got a defenseman shooting the puck a lot more, gaining a little offensive confidence. So there you go. Keandre Miller for the New York Rangers, plus 600 for Alex B. Smith with his bargain bin special of the night. My bargain bin special for this Sunday NHL card, there were a couple that I had in mind as far as the bargain bin here, but I decided, you know what, we'll see about it. I'm going to actually, I think, as far as the bargain bin tonight in this game, I'm just trying to make sure the price is within the right range for him, because it's right on the fringe. I'm just going to take a look what it is, but I like what Cuban said, because that's a great factor. That's a really, really a great factor about Fantilli and the fact that he's going to have the family there watching him today in Boston. You always get someone's best effort when they've got family in attendance. It doesn't mean for sure he's going to score, but I'll tell you what, this is a player that has got outstanding talent, skill, finishing ability, kind of went through a little drought, snapped out of the drought Friday night against Ottawa, and now he's going to have family in attendance from all indications in Boston tonight for this game. That's what I'm going to go with. Great price, plus 460 at FanDuel for Adam Fantilli of the Columbus Blue Jackets. So no question about that. So Adam Fantilli, plus 460, Columbus Blue Jackets for my bargain bin special of the night. All right, let's go to best bets here for this Sunday NHL card. Alex B. Smith, he has a best bet. He sent it as part of his card. Alex B. Smith for best bet. We're going back to the game we just talked about, Colorado, LA. He also likes the LA Kings here. That is his best bet. So Alex B. Smith, LA Kings, money line, minus 130 against the Colorado Avalanche for Alex B. Smith with his best bet for this Sunday NHL card. And my best bet for this Sunday NHL card, I want Buffalo in some form here today against Nashville. I'm just trying to figure out, do I want the team total? Do I want the first period puck? I think I'm just going to go with that. I think I'm just going to go money line. I'm just going to go full game money line, minus 110. I'll go with that one with the Buffalo Sabres here after kind of they got lit into by Dylan Cousins post game after that game against Carolina. And look, Nashville's coming back down to earth, and Nashville's not been great on the road this year. So put it all together, and I think this is a spot where the Sabres, in theory, are supposed to step up. And if they do, against a Nashville team that's got a below 500 record on the road, they're capable of winning this game. So Buffalo minus 110 against Nashville for my best bet. That'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. Thanks to everyone for joining us. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, although we're on Monday, tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern time, and then Tuesday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. And if you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms. I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy the games and good luck. We will talk to you again tomorrow on Monday for another edition of the Ice Guys.